The Wall Streets. They don't teach you about. Everyone knows about Tulsa. But did you know there were over 10 other Black Wall Streets across America that were burned to the ground? Yeah, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Greenwood. We've all seen the pictures, heard the harrowing stories. A beacon of Black prosperity, a testament to what a community could build for itself against all odds. And then, in 1921, it was turned to ash by a white mob. It's the story we're told, the one that made it into the history books. Eventually. But here's the thing about history. What's left out is often just as important as what's put in. Tulsa wasn't a one-off tragedy. It was part of a pattern, a brutal, systematic, and terrifyingly effective pattern. Think of it like this. If your house burns down, it's a tragedy. If 10 houses on your block burn down in the same year, that's not a series of unfortunate events. That's a problem, and America had a problem. Tulsa was just the most famous fire. Today, we're going to talk about the others, the ones that were just as vibrant, just as successful, and just as brutally erased. From Florida to Nebraska, North Carolina to Louisiana, these weren't just communities. They were symbols of Black economic power. And for that crime, they were destroyed. We're going to connect the dots and expose the blueprint used to tear them down. So buckle up. This isn't just a history lesson, it's a look at the receipts. The proof of a coordinated campaign to destroy Black wealth and power in America, a campaign so successful that most of us don't even know these places existed. We're going to name them, we're going to honor them, and we're going to understand how their destruction shaped the country we live in today. This is a 10-minute deep dive into the lost Black Wall Streets of America. Let's get into it. Greenwood, in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Before 1921, this place was the dream. A 35-square block district, among the most affluent African-American communities in the country. They called it Black Wall Street, and it wasn't an exaggeration. We're talking doctors, lawyers, business owners. They had their own banks, luxury hotels, movie theaters, grocery stores, and a top-tier school system, built by people often 1 or 2 generations removed from slavery. And that, right there, was the problem. Resentment boiled. How dare these people be so successful? A flimsy accusation against Dick Rowland lit the fuse. A white mob, deputized and armed, descended on Greenwood. It wasn't a riot. A riot is chaos. This was organized. This was a massacre. For 2 days, they burned it all. Private planes dropped firebombs on buildings, homes and businesses looted, people shot in the street. The official 36 dead was a joke. Estimates up to 300. Over 1,200 homes and businesses destroyed, thousands left homeless. No convictions. Insurance refused payouts. The city blocked rebuilding and rezoned for industry. Violence first, legal and economic erasure after. The blueprint: success, resentment, a spark. Organized violence, official erasure. Now south to Florida, 2 years after Tulsa. Rosewood, a quiet, self-sufficient Black town. Church, school, Masonic lodge, successful businesses, a turpentine mill, residents owned land and homes. January 1923, a white woman's accusation. No evidence, press hysteria. A lynch mob formed. Hundreds terrorized the town, hunting residents through swamps, burning every church, business, and home. Survivors hid for days. 2 conductors evacuated families. Official dead, 8, real toll likely far higher. Rosewood vanished from maps. Journalists uncovered the truth in the 1980s. In 1994, Florida compensated a few survivors, but no money could rebuild Rosewood. This wasn't just a massacre, it was the only successful coup d'etat in American history. Wilmington, majority Black, thriving port, Black citizens integrated at every level. Business, artisans, city officials, police, firefighters. White supremacists led by Alfred Waddell stoked hysteria with newspapers. 2,000 armed men marched, burned the Black-owned Daily Record. Then the killing began. Estimates from 60 to 300. They forced officials to resign at gunpoint and installed themselves. A violent overthrow. Laws disenfranchised Black voters. Over 2,000 fled. Wilmington turned to Jim Crow in hours. Buried for a century. Haiti, center of black enterprise, NC Mutual, Mechanics and Farmers Bank, Lincoln Hospital, North Carolina Central University. Success drew hostility. The weapon, policy. The freeway sliced Haiti, hundreds of homes, dozens of businesses, churches demolished. It severed economic arteries. What the freeway missed, slum clearance finished. St. Joseph's AME and Haiti Heritage Center remain, lonely monuments to targeted policy. Jackson Ward, Harlem of the South, epicenter of black finance. Maggie L. Walker and St. Luke Penny Savings Bank empowered homeowners. Duke Ellington, Ella Fitzgerald, James Brown, culture thrived. Then, renewal. Interstate 95 ripped the neighborhood apart, over 700 homes destroyed. Corridors gutted. Dust and disruption drove residents out. Pressure and intimidation compounded losses. Parts revived, but a shadow of its former self, a community dismantled over decades. North 24th, Midwestern Black Wall Street. Clubs, shops. The Omaha Star, led by Mildred Brown. 1919's horrific lynching cast a dark shadow over the city. Repeated clashes reflected police brutality, redlining, and lack of opportunity, framed as lawlessness to justify crackdowns. After Vivian Strong's killing, unrest accelerated flight and divestment. The corridor hollowed into boarded facades. Mound Bayou, a town by former slaves, for former slaves. Isaiah T. Montgomery led pioneers to self-govern. Cotton gins, sawmill, bank, businesses, praised by President Roosevelt as an island of freedom. Black voting, office holding, dignified life. The Taborian Hospital treated those denied elsewhere. Not fire, but finance. White-owned banks and suppliers squeezed. Cotton prices fell, credit vanished. Constant threats outside, economic strangulation inside. Decades of hardship led to decline, many leaving. It endures, proof that strangulation can devastate like a firebomb. Oklahoma hosted 50-plus all-black towns. Boley, founded 1903, the crown jewel. 2 banks, 3 cotton gins, a phone company, its own power plant. The Masonic Temple towered in pride. In 1932, townspeople foiled Pretty Boy Floyd's gang. Boley defended itself. Statehood brought disenfranchisement. Depression-era collapse and hostility shrank Boley over time. Proud still, yet a fraction of its former size. 1873. Black militia defended a disputed election at the Colfax courthouse. A mob arrived, ex-Confederates, Klan, White League, with a cannon. After surrender, they executed men and burned the courthouse, up to 150 murdered. The Supreme Court's Cruikshank decision neutered federal protection, paving Jim Crow's rise. Elaine, 1919. Sharecroppers formed a union, a church meeting. Shots fired, spark lit. Mobs and troops hunted black men, women, children. Machine guns in fields. Deaths likely in the hundreds. Tulsa, Rosewood, Wilmington, Haiti, Jackson Ward, Omaha, Mound Bayou, Boley, Colfax, Elaine. 10 communities, 10 stories of prosperity and hope, 10 brutal erasures, and this is just a partial list. There were more. Look together and you see the pattern. A systematic campaign to destroy black economic power, by bullets or by bulldozers. This engineered the racial wealth gap, coordinated violence, dispossession, legal erasure. They burned generational wealth and erased communities from the maps. Understanding the blueprint of destruction helps us draw a blueprint for repair. Thank you for taking this journey. This history is heavy, but it's essential. It's our history. Don't let it be erased again. Like, subscribe, share, and support the greatness. 19 channel and click in the description box below for products and services.